Welcome back to my channel. Today what I am doing is turning a horse from winter to show season. Also ignore this, on her leg. That's about to be in the poultice video that I'm about to shoot as well. So like kind of all over the place because I kind of wanted to have different things going on at one time. So I'm just gonna go and shoot this one. So just make sure you check out the poultice video here in a second. So what's been going on? So I've had her here for probably about 4 months or so, and so over that time I've been training, lots of training, but I've kind of let her grooming go by the wayside. Well, I mean, I still brush her every day, multiple times a day, but as far as her clipping and her hair, and Mercedes here grows a lot of hair. Okay, so whenever you're going from winter to show, so this is about the end of January, so shows begin about the end of February, at least for me. So I need to start getting her ready to go. So besides giving her good grooming, now it is too cold to give her a bath. I probably would, not today since I've done so much with her already, but another day go ahead and give her a bath. But today I just gave her a good curry, a good body brush, and then some Shoshin on it, because I do like using Shoshin every day. So probably starting in the beginning of February, especially with her being a gray. And forgive her for a second, she's currently on stall rest, so she's a little bit on the anxious side, but I was going to go ahead and start doing her grooming since she is on stall rest. So what I have already done besides that is I did start her preliminary clipping. So I do that in stages since we're going from winter hair to short hair. So now usually I do blanket them heavily so they're not as furry as you may have one that's just coming straight out of the pasture, but it still gets very, very hairy. I am going to invest in a neck cover soon, because horses like her, they get so hairy on the neck, it really kind of takes away from their overall look and their petite head. So she's a lot prettier when she's really nice and slicked off. So for done the outside of her ears, I have not done the inside of her ears, because like with ears, kind of depends on the horse, but most are kind of iffy with their ears anyway. So I just kind of take it easy, no reason to push the issue. I did her long eyelashes. Now I probably won't do much more than that. I don't do a really tight on her eyelashes, but I did her muzzle. I did her bridle path, which you can really see like how like less hair is right there than the rest of her. And then I did under her chin. Now these parts that are like a little bit patchy is because there's so much hair there, and I'm not gonna do a full body clip, because I just kind of feel like that's just too much of a shock for a horse to go from full body hair all of a sudden they're clipped. And I know there's blankets and stuff like that, but still, I mean, if it's cold outside, that's just not really right for them. I like to do it in stages, plus it makes it look more natural anyways. So I did clip underneath her neck all the way in her jaw, and then I did do her neck and her face. She actually grows a lot of hair on her face, like in stages. So it's gonna look kind of choppy for a little while, for about a week or two. And so I'm gonna leave it like this for about 2 or 3 days. Then I will come back and do a second clip around the hair, and then like one last round probably in another week. And then right before the show, I can just trim it up, because then she would already had all of her big long stuff taken off. And of course on her legs too. Right now I just leave that, because sometimes if they step in mud, they could get mud fever and sores. She doesn't have that, but I don't want to irritate her legs or anything right now. So I will wait till it's a little bit drier anyways, and closer to time. And that you can't really notice as big with the hair. Next thing is I'm working on is her mane. Gosh, I don't know why I fix it. So I did stop it halfway, a little bit over halfway, because I'm like, you might want to see this. So it was super long, like how you see here, because I hadn't even done anything with it. So what I'm doing is the preliminary cut. And again, I don't try to do a huge one. Now I do struggle with this, I'm not that great at it. But what I'm doing right now is I'm cutting it with thinning shears, and I'm also going to thin it. I need to thin it a little bit more. And then in a week, when I come back and do the clipping again, I will thin some more and start to pull it. Okay, and pulling, if you've never done pulling, is where you get the longest piece, wrap it around something and pull. See, I just pulled off some right there. And that will trim up the bottoms and stuff and make it look more like naturally there. your goal for pulling a mane, and now this is for dressage, English, horses. You could also look at like AQHA halter. AQHA halter is a little bit smaller than what I'm saying, but typically you want to do a hand width. So like I'm a little bit long right now, but that's okay. That will give me room to pull it up. Plus it is dry, but I will be able to kind of clean this up a little bit. So what I'm using for my preliminary is these thinning shears. Now you can get these at like a beauty supply store. So it's just where it's these little ridges in it, so it's not a straight cut. Whenever I want to come back and start thinning next week is I will come in like on this big part here and I will clip up this way. And since it doesn't clip all the hair, you can just do like this and then just kind of pull down some. And it just thins it, so it makes it really a lot easier to lay flat, and that's a goal of a lot of us. Luckily her hair is not super thick. It is pretty thick, but I don't want to do all this in one day because that's just hard. And she's only 5 years old, and you know she needs to be able to get out and move around a little bit, so I don't want to do too much in one day. So if I can just do a little bit over time and not be in a hurry the day before the show, the better it'll be. Now for this big part, so to get started, which is where I know a lot of you struggle with because you see all these videos all the time, people are like, oh, just pull the mane, and their mane's like super tiny, and that's not a big deal. If you try to pull this, you can do it, but it'll take you like years to get it all the way up here. So my suggestion, and again I'm not perfect, is just cut it off lower, like make it longer than you want, and then pull from here. Well, pull slash thin, because look how thick that is. Like that's still pretty thick, so I'm gonna thin it a little bit and then I'll pull it. But so with this, I'm just gonna take my thinning shears. Again, you could take the blunt scissors, but sometimes that cuts it off weird, then you're in a situation and you can't put it back, right? So I like to do it this way, but I can also do it at an angle. Kind of makes it better. And just gonna go chop, 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 run my hands through it, and stuff comes off. Now it still pulls it a little bit, but it helps it come out. Stop. Whoa, whoa. 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 Nope. Okay guys, so that's where I'm stopping at for today. So as you see, it looks so much better than it did when I started, which I didn't even show you a picture of where it was when I started. It was all the way down here. And so now it looks much more show ready so that we can do little rosettes for dressage, okay? So yeah, so this is the first stage. So as I said before, second stage will be to do another clipping, get it a lot closer and calm down on the hair, maybe even clip some on the belly, anywhere where there's hair hanging down that makes her look not as put together. Then I will clip that. I do not do a major clipping. I will clip the dock of her tail. I will also then thin this again and pull it, and then again do the clipping there. I will then, that's at the second time. The third week I will then go ahead, and it should be warm enough to go ahead and give her a nice bath, detangle her tail, and trim her tail up, and just get her all nice and clean. And then that will be the starting of getting her all nice and non-brown-ish. There's a few brown spots, but not too bad for a gray in the middle of winter, so not too bad. So thank you so much for watching. God bless, be adventurous, and make sure you hit like and subscribe so you never miss an episode. And please comment down below what are your winter grooming tips to get back into show season. Bye!